We're at WOMAD now, which is a fantastic festival. What are you going to bring to the festival?
Fun and personality. What we do is from home, and the band is they're my brothers from the Caribbean. I mean, they are Cuban and I'm Panameño, so we bring that kind of feeling, and that's who we are.
Any drummers who may be coming to the festival, what would you say to them now?
Keep your mind open. Try to play with people, not for yourself. And if you can do that, you can apply that to the rest of your life in the same way.
How much time do you spend practicing a day?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's in the mind. First in the mind. It's not the physical. It is the mental. If you can do the mental, where you play before you actually apply the ideas physically, that's when you're studying. The body's just a machine. The mind has to tell it what to do.
Now, I was listening to some people who were looking at the program as they were coming into the festival earlier, and they were looking through, and one of them said, Billy Cobham's on. And the other person said, who's Billy Cobham? They said, you know, the guy who plays with 4 sticks. Now, that's how they identified you to somebody else. How do you identify yourself?
Billy Cobham, student of the art of music. It's not about playing the instrument. That's a layman's term. Playing with 4 sticks. That's what they see. So to some degree they have that dimension, but there's more. And unless you understand why I am approaching the drum set with 4 sticks, that's as far as you get, as the guy that plays with 4 sticks.
Now, do you have a personal favorite of something you've recorded?
Jack Johnson, which was with Miles Davis, because it was it kind of sort of summed up Miles and all of us who were around him. I put myself as being the little like a fly on the wall or on the shoulder of the musicians who were there watching. But I was actually the drummer. The night before, I was petrified as usual for what we had to play the next day in rehearsal, because he kept saying, looked at me and said, "See what you just played there? Play that tomorrow." And I'd go, "Okay." And of course, I would go to sleep petrified that I would forget, and then when I got into the studio, I didn't realize I had totally forgotten whatever he said I had to play. But in this particular occasion, we're sitting and we are not sure what's coming next, because he says, "Okay, we have to get levels." I said, "Don't play in between takes, okay, because we need to get this done right away." We were making a movie soundtrack for a documentary called about the fighter Jack Johnson, the American fighter. And I said, okay. And McLaughlin is the kind of guy at that point, when you tell him to do something, he does the opposite. It's just normal. It's just human nature. Had Miles said, "So just hang out, just play a little bit, doesn't matter," he would have probably been quiet and not played. But because he was told not to play, he thought of something to play. And he started playing, and it was like a bit of a shuffle. And all of a sudden this is going, and Michael Henderson, the bass player, is like, it was infectious, and it was like, and it started feeling good. And he said, okay, just light, we'll just start playing. And I wasn't doing anything, I was just sort of sitting there, and I don't know, my hands started moving, my feet, and the next thing I'm playing this shuffle. I go, Miles came out and said, "I told you not to play in between takes." And silence for a little while, and he went back in. They were still trying to get kind of levels and stuff, and John was like, "Oh, that felt good, Michael, "Yeah, man, that's great, and it's getting, and I'm just sort of sitting there going, man, Miles is going to get upset, I'm not going to play, but my feet started moving, and then, next thing you know, I'm in it, And we're just playing light. I said, if I keep it down, then probably he won't hear anything. And we'll just be grooving it. But it was getting louder and louder and louder. Miles came out and said, I told you not to play between them. Everybody stopped. Now it's a game. Yeah, John's like, because now it's like irretrievable. I mean, the feeling is like, the hell with the music from last night, you know? And John just starts playing. And it's just going, you know? And that thing's just going like this, you know? And it's just growing and growing. And Miles comes out, dark glasses, and, you know, he's waving his arms, and all of a sudden he turns around to Tio Becerro, and he points to the red light. He said, the red light! And the session started at 9. We would finish that session by 10:30, man. It was supposed to be a 3-hour session. We had the whole soundtrack. Oh, and in the middle of this, by the way, in walks Herbie. And Herbie has like a grocery bag. This is a CBS 54th Street back in the day. Studio, I think it was Studio G. Herbie comes in with an LP, and it says Fat Albert Rotunda on it from Warner Brothers. He just signed a label deal with Warner Brothers, and he's giving this to Miles, and Miles says, play! And meanwhile, we're like, we're roaring, and Herbie said, no, man, I'm double parked downstairs, I can't. And Miles said, play! And Herbie said, I can't. And Miles said, play! And next thing you know, Herbie with the bag, and he puts down, and he goes to an organ, and you can hear this on this record. He's trying to figure out how to play a Farfisa organ that he's never seen before in his life, and the engineer has, by this time, dove for the XLR plugs to plug in because to find tracks for him to play on. He's like, boom, and he's doing this, and all of this is happening, and I'm just watching this as I'm playing the drums. And I'm going, I can't believe I'm watching this, and I'm playing here, and I'm watching this, and we're recording it, and it's like, next thing you know, Herbie's playing a solo, and you hear the way he's setting everything up. He's trying to find sound in this Farfisa organ that probably hadn't been played in 15 years. I mean, it's like, there's no sound, so you hear his whole forearm go across the whole keyboard. Wow! He's trying to find sounds, and he makes the most incredible music out of that. Just. And then finally, and this whole thing is just going. And it's just growing. And then we finally fade into part of Silent Wave from another record. And it went on for like about an hour. And that to me was one of the most amazing situations I've ever been in, only seconded by being in the studio with Miles once before, or once after that, where we were getting set up for a record called On the Corner or something, and he was getting levels on his electric trumpet, and all of a sudden he heard something. We were in New York City, but we were close to the Hudson River, and on the other side is New Jersey, and I forget the name of it, GBR or something like this, like a jazz station. And he hears, gosh, he said, what's that? I know this tune. Turned out to about him playing against himself because of the unshielded wire from the line, the microphone on his trumpet bell. It was picking up, BGH. He was picking up BGH in New Jersey of him playing Quiet Nights on a record of his own with Gil Evans, and he started playing a solo with it. And he didn't know what tune it was and all of that, and we started to play with him on it. It was one of those. It was just one of those situations, and they recorded it. But I don't think it ever came out. It was just a trip, man. You know. And in the back of the whole thing, while we were recording, the funny part was Gil Evans was sitting in the back, and Miles had played against this one. When he finished, he said, gosh, it's a funny chord in there. I couldn't understand what it was. And a voice came from the back, and it was Gil Evans. He said, "Yeah, it's that plus 9 that we had put in there." We're talking. I recorded with Miles in '71. They made that record in '59, '60, and Gil remembered that, and he was just sitting in the back because they were working on something. It was one of those moments, you know. Those are the things you remember.